So ergo test is absolutely savage. You get mainly tested 6 times a year, and you're tested every day when you're training full-time in the national team. And it's obviously a very clear indicator on your power and power to weight. It's a power endurance sport, and it's, I think, one of the hardest out there. It's a strange love-hate relationship, but you have to make friends with that machine because it's a cool mistress. I'm Will Satch, Olympic champion, and we're currently sat in Leander Club, where I'm a lifetime member. The route I took into Team GB eventually, a little bit unorthodox compared to your sort of standard rower. It's obviously deemed as being quite elitist. I think it's definitely opened up more now, but I was lucky enough to eventually get a scholarship to play rugby at a local public school near here. And I probably wasn't actually given much of an opportunity to choose various sports because my stepdad was a rugby coach and my mum was a swimmer, but she also used to skiff. So there was that sort of, when I was still in a basket, I'd be taken down to Raisbury Skiff and Punting Club, and I'd be sat in the bottom of a boat, not even 1 year old, watching my mum row. I think they divorced when I was 3. Obviously, can't remember any of that. It's a good time if it's going to happen. Basically didn't see Dad from the age of 11 really until the London Olympics, and Mum was, it's very cliche to say, but Mum was good enough to be both, father and mother. She'd make it work. It's hard to see sometimes when you literally have nothing and she's going out of her way to make it happen. But that's why I have so much respect for her and I admire her so much and why she's my inspiration. And I think from a very early age, Mum sort of figured out that there was something quite not right with me, being ginger and sort of diagnosed with ADHD, to the point where I was at preschool with a lot of energy, and I'd be sent around the rugby pitch twice before I could engage with the rest of my class. But ultimately, it was exercise that just released all of that pressure. And sport, I think sport in general was my release. So that was the drug, and I'm a big advocate of that now. But then I think there's adversity in any sports players that ends up wearing that Olympic vest and putting those rings on their chest to make them get to that end goal. And just from a very young age, it was always going to be a sport, one way or another, and the tranquility of being on the water just really calmed my anxiety and gave me discipline, camaraderie, and motivation, really. I actually wasn't very good at it at a young age and kept switching backwards and forwards, but by the point I got to 17, I chose that rowing was going to be the way forward, much to my stepdad's disappointment. And then from there onwards, there was this upward trajectory of speed. I grew another inch at 21, which definitely helped leverage. Lucky to be, blessed with good genes, big lungs, and just being red-headed, I think. Just being quite angry, especially when I was in my youth. Definitely gave me a lot of fire and speed, I think, ultimately. I got the call up quite young, really. There was a bit of a grand upward trajectory. I was lucky enough to be supported by the club we're in today. I rowed here as a junior, sort of before the junior system was here, and was given a lot of opportunity and a big stepping stone to give it a go. Like I said, I wasn't actually that great as a junior. I was a bit overweight and still playing a lot of rugby. But then it got to the point where, like I said, I made that decision, and I think the team was very strong leading into 2012, but I felt, maybe I was naive, but it felt like there was an opportunity to make it. So I just gave it my all. A lot of things with sport is luck. I think you make your luck. I don't really believe in luck, but it sort of makes sense sometimes when, you're gifted. Jürgen Grobler was there, and he's one of the most successful sports coaches of all time. So I felt like I took real advantage of that. And I was really passionate about it. And I wanted to make big strides and go far with it. And then before I knew it, sat on the start line of an Olympic final with your best mate. And it's very special. And it's one of that's one of the moments that I'll remember till I'm dead, I think. That's what it's about. What I love about rowing is it's really pure. It's really simple. Everything's stripped back. There's not a lot of financial gain in it. It's the discipline that it gives you. And you don't really find that in day-to-day life, I don't think, anymore, as cliche as that sounds. I said before, it's a cruel mistress sport, and it really is, but it teaches you so many lessons. And because I think rowing's one of the toughest ones, I think the lessons are harder. So yeah, you sort of ping pong and there's a lot of ups and downs, but the highs are incredible, especially to achieve with a team. There's not a lot that beats that in my eyes. There's times where it also brings a lot of pain and sacrifice, but I think, if you want something in life, you've got to sacrifice a lot. So yeah, purity. I think the most challenging part of rowing is obviously the training. It's really quite grueling. It could be up to sort of 240k a week. It's day in, day out. There's no days off, and it can bring out the beast a little bit. At the same time, because you're exerting yourself, it sort of gets rid of those demons too. And I think for me at the time, I had a lot of fire in my belly, and I think those demons made me quite fast. To achieve the medals, obviously London felt amazing. I was 22, 23. It was a very special moment, something that was unexpected. We broke the Olympic record, and then the Kiwis went and beat it by even more. Brilliant. Obviously, Olympic gold, to achieve that with those guys, very special. But like I said about the adversity and being away from stuff and loved ones, for Zara to turn around and say yes when I proposed to her I felt really proud then, and I think that's my proudest achievement. So now that I've hung up the oars, the biggest joy I get is actually exercising. It just gives me routine, and I think without routine, I'm quite a difficult bloke. But ultimately, I just love endurance sport. I hate being in the gym. Obviously, dipping my toe into coaching and being on the other side of the oar it's been really interesting. And it was something that I wasn't too sure I'd actually like, and I completely fell in love with the sport again. To give back is something very, very special.